Okay, we're getting ready to start week 9, which means we only have just a couple of weeks left in our keyboard class. You'll be playing just a couple of pieces this week, pages 87 through 91, and we've got some new vocabulary from 92 to 99. So I'm going to go over that with you right now, and it's really not that bad. It won't take that long, but I need you to bear with me, and there'll be questions that you have to answer to make sure that I know you watched this video. Cool? All right, here we go. Last week, we did the hand and aerobic exercises for the hands. Patterns, one measure patterns. I know some of you tried it, some of you did not attempt it. This week, I'm gonna have you do that, all of you. And I'm gonna watch how you do with that. And I'm gonna try to explain how it makes your hands a little bit more coordinated when you play other songs. The dotted quarter note, that's a quarter note with a dot after it. The dot adds 50% to the note in front of it. All right? So here's your first question. The dotted quarter note, how many beats does it get in 4/4 time? And how many beats does it get in 6/8 time? If you said 1.5 and 3, then you were right. All right, sixth intervals. We stretched out our hands a little bit further when we did the hand and exercises and the other tunes that we played last week. A lot of you played London Bridges, a lot of you played Alouette, and Michael rowed the boat ashore. All of those used that sixth interval where we stretched out our hands a little bit more. Retardando, do you remember what that meant? Yes, gradually slowed down. The 2/4 time signature, 2 beats per measure, and the quarter note gets 1 beat. We use that 2/4 time signature in Kumbaya. And finally, the staccato articulation. The confusion on this one was sometimes you confuse it with a dotted note, the dotted quarter note, for example. The difference is the dotted quarter note has the dot after the note. The staccato articulation has it where? Very good, below the note. The staccato articulation, do you remember what that means? Yep, you play it like it's hot. And the book actually says quickly and detached. That's okay too. All right, here we go with our new stuff. Last week, most of you focused on the hand and exercises. I think you chose some other songs, but we're going to add another hand and exercise today. We're really going to try to understand and play dotted quarter notes this week with 2 tunes in particular, 88 and 89. And finally, we're going to play a tune with a staccato note on page 91. All right. You already know that I write this stuff on the board, so you know exactly what you need to accomplish every week. And so people won't say, wait, what? I didn't know we had a quiz today, or I didn't know we were supposed to play that song. So I'm going to write it on the board when you come back on Tuesday. So you'll know exactly what you need to play. If you got your book at home, you know what you're going to play, you can start practicing. All right, so we're adding to the final couple intervals that you'll be playing in this class. You're going to stretch your hand out a little further. This is the 7th, and on a piano keyboard, these are the white keys. Remember, you start counting from the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 7th stretches your hand out a little bit more. Here's what it looks like on the staff. If you start on this note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Did you notice that it went from a line to a line? If you start on a space, it'll go from a space to a space. That's an easy way to recognize a 7th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, you've heard me say octave as another name for an eighth. If you count up 8 keys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you have gone up an octave or an interval of an eighth. You guys know how to count this. And octaves actually goes from a line to a space or a space to a line on the staff. So again, easy ways to recognize these guys. So when you get back, I'm going to have you play these intervals melodically and harmonically so we can get your hands stretched out and so that you can feel a little bit more comfortable playing those things, because we will be playing them this week. All right, the interval of a seventh, I'm going to give you a picture of a keyboard so you can see exactly how it looks. Here's our group of 3 black keys and 2 black keys. Remember? Forks, chopsticks. Forks have an F right next to them. Chopsticks have a what? Good, C. All right, so a seventh goes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. From here to here. The eighth, you count the exact same way. I don't have to do that for you again. But we're going from a C to the next C. That's what the interval of an eighth does. When you go up an eighth, you just go to the next letter on the piano. That is that letter, that particular letter. All right? So here's a C right here. There's another C. Since this is only an octave patch of a keyboard, I can't do the D and the E and the F, but I think you get the idea. All right, we've talked about this. What is this called? And how do you play it when you see it? Good. All right, now we're going on to the flat. This is the flat here. And we're going to learn a little bit about it. Just to let you know, it's the opposite of this guy. It's the opposite of the sharp. The sharp raises the note to the next adjacent key to the right. When we say raises, that pitch gets higher. So that's what the sharp does. The flat, exactly the opposite. It lowers the note to the next adjacent note to the left. All right, the reason that we're learning the flat is we're going to go into one more chord progression. The chord progressions that we have learned so far were in the keys of what? Very good, C and G. C had no sharps, no flats. G had what? And what was that sharp? Very good. All right, now in the key of F, you'll see our 1 chord has an F on the bottom, just like our 1 chord in C had a C on the bottom. Our 1 chord in G had a G on the bottom. The 1 chord looks like a snowman, exactly like the other things that we have done. The 4 chord, you do the exact same formula that I taught you for the other guys. Oops, here we go. Bottom stays the same, top 2 notes go up, back to the root. On the 5-7, top stays the same, middle goes up, bottom goes down, and then back to the 1. Now you notice these flats here. Do you remember how I told you in the key of G, all the Fs were sharp? In the key of F, all of the Bs are flat. So when you make your progression, you will go through and look to see if there are any Bs that are played. This is an F, A, and C. This is an F, B, and D. That B has to be flat, so you have to write that in, just like you had to write the sharp in for the F sharps in the G progression. You'll notice if you come over here, we have 1 more B in the 5-7 chord. So you have to mark that as well. All right, now what did I say about these things being on tests and quizzes? This is going to be on your next quiz, and your final, and your next quiz. Please look at it, please understand it. It's an easy question to get, and it's a lot of points. All right. Now, you guys already kind of have heard me talk about this, but I'm going to go through it again because half steps and whole steps are very important. When we come back here to the flat, we talked about it being lowered to the next adjacent note. Lowered to the next adjacent note. Over here, we talked about it being raised to the next adjacent note. Well, instead of saying next adjacent note, we're going to learn a new term. A half step. When you go to the next adjacent note to the right, you have gone a half step up. So that sharp could be defined as go a half step up from the key that is written. Half step, one adjacent note. This is a half step to the right, so that's a sharp. If you put two half steps together, one half step, two half steps, you have a whole step. In other words, you skip one key. There is one key, either black or white, in between them. If I went from this key to this key, what would that be? A half step. Good job. If I went from this key right here to this key right here, what would that be? Good. All right, if I went from this key over to this key, what would that be? All right, now let's talk through that one so that you can understand the answer. From here to here is a half step. That's one half step. Here to here, two half steps. Here to here, three half steps. Here to here, four half steps. So from here to here, you've got four half steps. How many whole steps would that be? Two, exactly. All right, moving on. Okay, now we're going to do a quick quiz on the material that I just presented to you. So hopefully you were paying attention, because this particular video is going to count for your participation grade today. All right, so really pay attention and see how you can do. Good luck. Guess what? You are done with your show. That means your eday is done for today, unless you have your piano and you can work through some pieces. Otherwise, I will look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow and playing for the next couple of weeks. As long as I got you there, music is the thing. Have a great one. Peace out. I'm going to do just a quick review of the things that we looked at today, just to see how much you retain. So answer these questions for me.